Here, let's just go ahead and,
Let's do an episode of Cardo Vodcast. Justin Barnett.
What's up?
Back from the dead, as far as anybody seeing this would be concerned that knows you.
Pretty much.
You've been off grid for a long time. And you and I reconnected for obvious reasons. We grew up like brothers together, and we were
My bad.
Batman fans since birth. So we were estranged for 5 years.
Pretty much.
Which was literally strange for us. So we lost touch and we got back together, and I asked you to come tell your story on this show, because what this show has become for me in developing it is just human interest stories. These are conversations I want to have.
Right.
These are questions I genuinely have, and I hope other people latch on to the answers, because some of these answers are outrageous or profound. But you got a story that's personal to me, and that's not normally a story I'm in this studio telling.
Right.
I don't have so many questions anymore because you and I have talked, but I feel like you have a lot of answers. I feel like your life story has been partially misrepresented. And I feel like everybody should have a chance to just set the record straight. So I thought you might want to come in here and tell us your story, starting from where you think there was a pivotal turn in your life that set you on a path. Like, where does the story you'd tell really start?
Probably when all the dope started.
So when you say dope, you mean methamphetamine?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to sound like a square, but everybody calls it meth.
Right.
So when did that start for you, age-wise? What age, I mean?
34, 35. Like, I did a few times when I was younger, shit like that. But like a couple months stints and then not touch it for years again. But I don't know what set it off this time. Just happened, and pretty much, same kind of excuse everyone has. Oh, I was working 2 jobs and doing everything I can to, keep going. Weekends I was putting in like shit close to 60 plus hours in 3 days. I had 2 different jobs. So, I mean, I was needing something to kind of help me. It helped. I had control of it for a while. Then realized, that was a joke. You never have control on that shit.
So people know the punchline now, right? We start with the punchline. This is partially what we're going to talk about. I think people can start to imagine how 2 family members' story is about to evolve, given the premise we just laid out, right? So
Right.
Let me back things up just a little bit and paint a picture for people. So I grew up in Southern California, spent my entire life there until I was 31 years old, I believe. You and I grew up like brothers.
Yep.
I was out of Long Beach. You were out of San Diego. We spent all our holidays together.
Yep.
Spent summers together. Your house, my house, weeks at a time. So our fathers, Carl and Charles, are brothers. Mm-hmm. And we grew up like brothers too.
Right.
So we were really close. And
I mean, hell, we're only 9 months apart.
9 months apart. That's right. So I'm 42 and you're just barely ahead of me at 43 now. And
I'm not even 43 yet.
You're not yet? Oh, no, of course. You're June 9th.
Yep.
And it's funny because I'll bet you there's not 4 birthdays I know, but when you grow up with a brother, you just kind of know it.
Exactly.
So we had that close kind of relationship. And I ended up moving to Missouri for a number of reasons. But so here I sit, and I was living with you. I mean, I came to the family home. You guys gave me a place to stay. And everything was really good for a while. And some stuff kind of took a turn, and that's about the time you're talking about. So now I'm living with you guys in your parents' great big giant home on their orchard on this beautiful property in central Missouri. And your wife lives there with you guys and your 2 daughters.
Right.
Big home, plenty of room, tons of room. This is a cool family home, like a generational home. And I get to stay there, and it's this good environment where my Aunt Laura, who always took care of me growing up, second mom, of course, is cooking for me again. And it's this really wholesome time for me, even though I'm going through some bad stuff, the tragedy of a divorce, things like that.
Right.
Your life had some things going on at that point, but you and I were still hanging out daily. We're still going out for a beer once in a while. We're
Right.
working construction together sometimes.
Well,
And then some things start changing for you.
Well, it was probably about 6 months, maybe a little bit more, before he moved out. When my one buddy had a heart attack and died right there at the house.
Now, I want to lift the pin on that. That's something that's profound. Your best friend in the world at the time dies in front of you in the home you live in.
Yep.
What does that do to you mentally?
Dude, it sent me down a freaking hellhole. Like 20,000 questions. Could I have done something different? You know, I should have known the signs because of everything that happened with Dad.
Unpack that for people. Unpack the situation.
Well, like how it went down?
Yeah, so this is your best friend, Alan. You guys are just hanging out at like a barbecue,
hanging out.
right?
He came over. And he started kind of feeling a little weird on the way over to my place. And by the time we got there, he was like saying he was having like really bad like acid reflux and stuff, and got real hot. Then like 10 minutes later, he just started acting real weird, and I started getting a little concerned. I'm like, "You all right, man?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just like, I just got some bad heartburn or something." I'm like, "All right." And then no sooner did I turn around, he just doubles over out of the chair onto the ground and gone. Like that.
Was he using at the time?
I don't know if he did or not. I can't remember.
Fair.
I
But
mean,
this was a guy that had a history.
Yeah,
of,
when he was younger, yeah. You know.
But not like this recent. What age was he at the time?
45, 46.
So he's 46 years old, kids?
Yep.
Married?
Mm-hmm.
So this wasn't a guy that was doing drugs every day?
No.
But maybe had a history of it.
Smoked weed.
Sure.
We smoked weed all
I don't
day.
consider medication
Right.
that kind of drug, right?
But no, the heavy stuff, that was all in his past, but I think it just all kind of caught up to him.
Sure. So this is like an average Saturday hangout for you guys, and your best friend collapses.
Yep. And
how did you feel in the moment?
Like, what the fuck? Like, that just fucking happened.
Just all shock.
Yeah, when it was all said and done, I mean, I stood there like for an hour just staring at where he was, and it was just like, that just fucking happened.
So,
you know, I was there when it happened. I had to call his wife, let her know what happened. Then later on, his oldest son called me. He was trying to figure out what was going on. I told him, and that reaction he had, I'll never forget the sound he made when I told him that his father was gone.
I believe you.
It messed with me pretty hard.
I've heard a sound I'll never forget as well.
But
I understand that. That's a real thing.
You know, and when, you know, come all the way forward to when I lost Dad, I understand that sound now. And yeah, it sucks.
So
but,
your buddy dies. What year, what month?
Oh God.
Ish.
It's been 11 years.
Okay. But so 11 years ago,
you're looking about,
you were like 31, something like that, right? 32 maybe, because I think I was 31 when I actually got situated and moved to Missouri.
It was 9 years ago.
So
it wasn't too long after we moved back here from St. Louis.
So I think that's something that we also need to lift the pin on. You had an inheritance, or maybe I shouldn't have targeted where it came from, but you had a bulk of money that you invested in building a home. And I know that story and the drama, the true drama surrounding it, has been kind of an integral part of our family story forever.
Right. Yeah, I'm not ready to pull a pin on that one.
Okay.
That's yeah, no, we ain't going there.
You think it would cause too many personal problems?
Yeah, I'm just not down with
That's totally fair, man. I mean, there's never any pressure here to talk about anything you're uncomfortable with. But I think that
maybe one day, but yeah.
It adds to the situation to tell people that you thought you were showing up to your own house, and then that didn't happen, which was pretty much out of your control. And so now you're living nearby in your parents' home, which is what we were talking, right? So it just kind of adds to the fact there's some pretty big frustration in your life.
Oh yeah, but I mean, probably good 7 out of 10 times, you know, it was practically my fault. I fell into a bad depression and couldn't get out of it. Finally did get out of it. Was doing good for a while. And then about a couple years after that is when the dope started. And about a 3.5 year downward spiral where I just pretty much lost everything, went to jail. And
so when you say the dope started, let me ask you, because a lot of people...
I did that first night. Then within a couple days, I was out buying some.
So when you say some, and we're talking about meth, let me ask you, like, how does that just happen? I understand you're going through something emotional, but I can't just walk out the door and get meth. So how does that happen?
No, I mean, just I was at a get together with some old friends. Someone had some, did it, and then got a hold of them a couple days later. Said, hey.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's just where it goes. And you meet new people, other people.
I mean, it's escapism, right?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it just took everything away. All the anger, all the pain, all the frustration.
Sure.
But at the same time, maybe not give a fuck.
Right.
You know, I was losing time with my wife, losing time with my children.
So,
and I didn't realize it because I didn't care. Because, you know, being on it just changes like that.
How
Slowly
does...
but surely, it happens. You don't really, until one day you realize, like, oh shit,
I've lost myself.
Yeah. No, it was pretty much when I woke up 3 days later when I got arrested.
Sure. That's a lot of people, right? Something jolts you back into reality. I mean, something gives you that reality check. But
yeah, I mean.
So what's the allure of meth? Just describe the feeling. You don't have to revisit it Basketball Diary style, but
it just takes everything that's pissing you off and frustrating you away.
Sure. I think a lot of people are sitting on a bar stool right now because of that,
it's
right?
just another way of dealing with your problems, except
it changes you.
It's a fucked up way to deal with your problems.
So how does it change your mind? How does it make you not yourself? What are the effects?
You just think you're not doing nothing wrong. Like you're doing no wrong. You got to answer for everything. You know.
And you feel good on a high, right?
Yeah, you feel good.
So you're elevated and you feel like you're charged up and kicking ass.
You can pretty much do anything. You know, if I was using it at work before I went to work or something like that, fuck.
Now, see, it's really funny because I moved to the Midwest and that was the first time I really started hearing or using the expression meth, right? But it's funny that people look down their nose at it so hard, because I got to be honest, I've been around coke heads in my career, particularly around the fashion industry, and I think it's much worse to deal with those people. But what's weird is amphetamines have been a white collar drug forever. I mean, we know presidents and Hitler, they got shot up with it. And
well, I mean, look at Adderall.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of it out there.
Except, you know, it's here for good. You know, the way they make dope and the way they make Adderall, you know, it's night and day.
Sure.
And probably a lot safer to do. But
so this is worth me unpacking also for folks' perspective that might be listening to this. I suffered from a misdiagnosis, a medical misdiagnosis for years. And I don't have to go real deep into it, but essentially what it boiled down to was I had some PTSD and some trauma.
Right.
And those are mental issues, right? But they found a minor chemical imbalance, which is just that I make a lot of dopamine. My brain's always pretty happy.
Right.
Makes it tough to sleep. But because of misdiagnoses over the years and whatever leanings the medical community always has to put you on pharmaceuticals, I've had struggles with compounds inside my body that I'm putting there on purpose, changing my physiology and my mind.
Right.
And now I feel like I lost 15 years of my life by being on pharmaceuticals.
Well, I remember when we were kids, you know, we were always going, especially you. You know, and everyone just thought you were overactive, overhyper. You know.
And I was a hyper kid. I'm a hyper
adult.
adult.
Wanted to blame sugar and everything, but yeah, of course, you know, back then that was like crack to us now. But
well, I mean, I skated, I rollerbladed, I sponged, I surfed, I was on track, city track, football.
Even before all that, like I'm talking, we were like little.
Oh, we're still popping balloons in our socks for New Year's?
Right, you know, shit like that.
Yeah, sure. No, I was always a hyper kid, and it turns out my chemical imbalance isn't so bad, but it gets misdiagnosed a lot. And that caused a lot of problems in my life. And there were times I didn't act like myself, and I can sincerely say that today I've proven that I've returned to the person I was that people knew.
Right.
which in my mind and through this therapy work I've done kind of vindicates that I really was that person. And it really was these pharmaceuticals that made a distinct negative impact on my life.
Oh, yeah.
So I get it, because you're just putting a methamphetamine in your body. It's in everything. It's in MDMA. It's in all kinds of stuff.
And it got
this
to
is a
the
different
point,
form.
like you said, you know, you lost 15 years to it. I mean, when I cleaned out, you know, when I came home from prison, you know, I was lost for like a good couple months. Like I didn't go anywhere.
So let's
like,
get people
I came
there.
to see you that one time, and even driving to your place that night, like it was fucking weird.
I want to touch on that. Somebody that you and I know is a mutual friend that I won't name on air. Good guy, and he shared with me some information about spending time in solitary. And just how it's changed. I mean, this was just me extending an invitation.
Dude. I mean, I wasn't ever like solitary confinement or nothing.
Yeah, but to go from society to any form of prison is equivalent to going from prison to solitary. I'm guessing. I've never been.
And before I went, the longest I spent was 30 days.
How long did you end up doing this last time?
15 months. I did 11 in county and 4 in prison.
So let's get people there.
There's a treatment, but I mean, I was still in a prison.
I think a big portion of the story is how you got there, and you know the details are certainly up to you. But
I just got caught with dope a few times. Was in trouble for that. I was on probation for some other stuff, and
snowballed.
You know, just one thing after another, and it just all came together. I mean, thank God it did, because I mean, like I said, when I woke up a couple of days later, finally, and kind of like, you know, a little more clear-eyed.
What did I do?
It was like, no, I knew what I did. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to be like calling like, bail me out. Nothing like that. I'm like, I'm just going to ride this out. I need to sit here for a while.
Sure.
And like anytime before I would have panicked, freaking out. Nope. I'm like, all right, I'm here. You know, I think it, like losing 15 months sucked.
You got 2 young daughters.
Yeah. I mean, I missed both. I missed a birthday for each of them. I missed Christmas for both of them. You know, all the holidays for 15 months and birthdays, anything I missed. And you know, I was there for a while. Finally, you know, I was able to talk to them a lot more on the phone every day, pretty much, or every other day I was calling them. But it was a lot of writing, a lot of apologizing. You know, and what good does it do? What did it for me really?
Did what?
Like verify that I needed to sit in jail and ride this out, get it done. Because I knew what was coming. I knew I was facing some other shit too. Meaning as like, you know, probation violations, backups, crap like that. Okay, I'm probably going to be here for a while.
Sure.
And I was talking to the girls one night. My oldest one goes, Daddy, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yeah. Now, mind you, she's 9 years old at the time.
Okay.
She's freaking 9. And she goes, when are you going to stop doing bad things and going to jail?
How does that make you feel as a father?
Dude. Straight punch to the freaking heart and the balls at the same time.
Right in the feels.
I mean, dude, I'm just like, oh.
That's rough.
My 9-year-old says this to me.
So that
I'm like, that's how far gone I was when this all happened. If I had spent any time with the girls or seeing them or something like that, I was always late. If I had them, I was always running places. And usually, yeah, I'd have to deal with dope. And so, I mean, I just didn't lose time with them for the time I was in jail. I lost a good couple of years before that with them because of the drugs.
How does drugs affect your life in terms of making you not present?
You're either looking for it, doing it, hanging out with friends that do it too. Thing on that, you know, with all that shit, you're just like 10 minutes. Next thing you know, an hour's gone by. Like, oh, fuck.
Sure.
You know.
What does that do to your marriage?
Oh, tears it apart.
How was your marriage from your perspective? Question mark. And then let me interject that I lived with you guys daily. So what I saw was very participating parents, a caring mother, an attentive father. You guys were a cool family unit, man. A good clique. You constantly went places together, and sometimes you included me. So I know you took us like to the zoo. I mean, this was fun family outing stuff. I saw a wholesome all-American family living in the middle of Missouri, and everything seemed great, really pretty great. And I know you guys were working on a housing situation and stuff, but
yeah, I mean, like any married couple, you're gonna have your problems, you're gonna have your issues, stuff like that. But
how quick do hard drugs burn it?
Oh, not bad at first because you do a pretty decent job of hiding it. Your use isn't as much.
Sure.
So, but everything becomes more.
Sure.
And more.
A little more
often.
Sure.
And she knew. And she caught me a few times and I'll stop. I would for a while.
Were you lying or did you believe it at the time? You're like, damn, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm going to stop. Or were you just appeasing her?
A little bit of both, but
sure.
When everyone you hang out with and friends does it.
Tough to get away from it, right? Like hang out in a barber shop long enough, you get a haircut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, if you sit around the tables, you know that one.
It was kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? Go hang out just for, have someone to hang out with and freaking end up doing it. I'm like, oh, fucking hand it to me.
So there was a story that you may not want to tell, and I'm not pushing. That was part of why you landed in jail. And I don't think it's just a detail that you might want to hash out. I really actually think it's pivotal in your story in terms of how much it changes your mind when you put a hard drug in your system all the time. Right? Like about a glass of wine a day is all I'm willing to.
Putting that out there because of just,
legal reasons.
I'm still dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm dealing with it. I'm doing my best to make up for it.
So tell people about that. You get in trouble, you do 15 months in prison, you get out. What do you do?
Shit, at first, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to do anything. Well, yeah, I mean, that was right off the bat, have a cigarette. And it was kind of like pissed me off because...
Sorry, no, it picks up the noise.
Oh, I quit doing it for so long. Quit smoking for so long. And then when I was in prison, there's ways to get tobacco. So every once in a while you have a cigarette. But yeah, first thing I do, I'm like, I went and got a soda and a pack of smokes. But now with the other stuff, I'm dealing with it. And I mean, yeah, once you start putting that shit, you're able to justify shit. I know what you're talking about. So, I mean, I can say, when you put the hard drugs in it, you're able to justify it somehow, make it seem like I'm not doing nothing wrong, really.
Well, I mean, even look at bodybuilder guys, roid rage. They beat the fuck out of their girlfriend or something. And like, no guy in their right mind is doing that. None of us want to do that. And these guys do it. And it's like, don't get me wrong. Maybe that's that human. But you kind of hear about it more with the guys taking a lot of steroids or something. Hormones are very powerful. The human body is just a chemistry set, and you dump heavy duty stuff in there. You get some pretty weird results. It's kind of a mixed bag, right?
Well, I mean, they've even proven that with dope that I can't, your endorphins.
Mm-hmm. It hijacks your reward system.
More. What it does, it shuts down your natural endorphins. So every time you smoke it, snort it, shoot it,
it's the only way you're getting them.
That's how you get it. That's why you're so when you come down, you're just so bummed out because you have nothing in you.
Yeah, you don't have a sunshine machine anymore.
They're right.
No,
you go outside factory. A beautiful day, money raining from the sky, and you're sitting there going, fuck.
So I wanna finish explaining that when you got out of prison, you went and got a job, 40 hours a week.
Right.
Now part of that's court mandated or
I mean, it's court mandated, but I had to do it anyway.
Sure. Because why? You had to pay reparations, right?
Oh, I got restitution payments and
restitution.
Other stuff I'm paying for. Plus, I got my girls and all that. So, I mean, it took a while to find something because when I got out, I was trying to get into a school where I actually eventually got into. So that took a few months. Did that.
What was the school for?
It was for
heavy machinery.
Forklift operator.
Forklift operator.
So
All right. So you go to school for how long was school?
It was 2 weeks. Paid for. I got it through the state.
Graduate?
Yeah.
Cool.
Passed it.
Cool.
Got like
and I've watched you run big equipment for Bobcats and stuff. So is this something you're going to do, or you just did the school?
Well, I did it, and I get out, and it was right there in December, so no one's really hiring. Everyone's, getting ready to stop stuff for the holidays. And because, I went to the school the first 2 weeks of December. And come out, boom, got Christmas, boom, we got New Year's.
Sure.
So we had January. No one's really hiring that time, so I'm looking for anything.
And clarify, we're in a place where work's seasonal. January, February, they roll up the sidewalks in this place.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, but you were going to travel for work.
I was thinking about it, just depending on where it was.
Sure. But you ran into having to check that felon box, right?
Yeah, I'm one of them. And, came back by me in the butt.
Is that what prevented you from moving forward after completing the school?
Just nothing. No one was hiring in the area.
So it's kind of arbitrary.
Like
they get this program.
Right. Like I get this freaking done and I get this and I get out. No one's hiring.
Yeah. Like they're like, here, we'll send you to astronaut school. Now you're an astronaut.
Right. NASA's closed down. So
yeah. Where are you going to work?
What do you got to do now?
Jiffy Lube don't need astronauts.
So I'm out and then the pandemic hits. I'm like,
thank you, universe.
Yeah. I'm like, dear God, what the hell, really?
That's when the meme bruh got invented.
No, I was like, you're fucking serious. And so, there's a few more months of no one's hiring. No one's open.
Oh, yeah. No, it was serious.
Shit. Finally, my ex-wife goes, go here. They're going to hire you. They're looking for help. I've known they're good people. So I did. Got hired. It's fast food.
How many hours a week?
Starting off, I usually average because, they don't count in your breaks when you get all that. So, I usually know about 37, 38 hours a week.
So that's a full-time job. It's 40 hours a week.
More sometimes because I'll stay or pick up an extra shift.
Sure.
And I do that. Been doing it for almost a year now.
So was that a humbling experience? Given that I know your work history, I'm just curious.
No, it just, for once, felt good to have a job. Like I was making some money. I started making my payments. I was, making my probation officer happy, making the courts happy, making the judge happy, the prosecuting attorney happy. Last time I went to court, they all gave me kudos. And I was like, all right, I'm doing something right for once.
Are you caught up, paid up?
Oh, no, I still got a few more years of payments, but.
Years of payments, fine. But are you
not
paid up?
Years, it's just a few years. No, yeah, it sucks, paying it back, but I did the crime, so got,
sure.
Go do the time or pay the fine.
No, I understand, but are you on time, current, green light? Your credit's good on those payments?
Oh, yeah.
Because that really matters. See,
when I got out, everything restarted. I didn't start working until May, so there's 8 months of no payments. Went to court after I made a few payments, couple $100. I was right at about $3,000 behind already, almost. And
on payments for restitution, child support,
just restitution.
Got it.
And so I was like, shit, I'm like 9 months behind by the time everything goes. And judge like, come back 6 months, see where you're at. I'm like, all right. Came back. I was paid up. I was even.
How's that feel?
So in 6 months, I pay over $3,000 almost trying to get caught up. I think I fell just a little short, like about $2,600, but still $2,600 in 6 months.
Oh, that's great, man.
And it's just like, that's what I had to do.
So where do you stand today in your life after losing, you told me at one point, about 5 years of your life, right?
Pretty much.
To drugs.
Yeah, a good 3.5 years on drugs and then 1.5 years in prison. in jail.
Okay. And it sounds like you're absolutely 100% still dealing with the ramifications of that today.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, it sucks. I'm not going to lie. I mean, paying that money where I could use it for something else,
Sure.
you know, all that, but I'm doing it. And no matter how much it sucks, it feels good to be able to say, I'm doing it.
You're making it right in the way that's been laid out in front of you.
Pretty much, you know, man the fuck up and do what I need to do. And
Is
I'm
it behind
taking
you?
care of- Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you closed a chapter, you left a stage in your life, and you're standing somewhere different?
Oh,
Is
definitely.
this a different
like,
person?
I've gotten out and I, you know, went to meetings and stuff like that to help, like, you know, at first. But really, I mean, I had 15 months of clean time before I was released. And going through treatment and everything they do there to help you deal with that. You know, I had a great advisor and / counselor. You know, she helped me a lot.
Like an NA counselor, like drug rehab counselor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
what was helpful about that?
everything.
I mean, tell people.
I mean, a lot of
about it
people,
once.
I mean, it was just too much to tell them that. But, you know, a lot of people coming through there, they're just like doing the motions. They're going to get out and go right back to what they were doing.
Sure.
And I don't fault them for that. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I went into treatment, won treatment, asked for it, got it thankfully, instead of my backup, which would have been 7 years, which I would have done probably close to 2.5 on. And got the help that I needed to be able to kick this shit once and for all and be done with it.
Have you used since?
Nope.
Have you been tempted?
Oh, a few times. Like, you know, thoughts going to cross your mind once in a while, no matter what.
I have some experience.
I mean, like, what was it the other day? I was telling you about the one flavor on our cigarettes.
Yeah, little vape pens.
Yeah, there's one flavor that when I hit it, it was almost like hitting a fucking pipe. And I was like, oh, that ain't good.
So let me ask you about that. What have you done to change your life, to change, you know, the size of the diameter of your life? Did you have to rein that circle in, tighten that up? Did you have to fire friends, prune friends? How do you stay safe?
As soon as I got home, you know, I started kind of messing around with Facebook, and I went through the list and just got rid of anyone that had to deal with that crap.
Did it work?
Yeah. I run
Sounds
into people, oh man, what's up? You know, and I could tell they're still using. I'm like,
nah, bro.
like, nah.
Yeah.
You know, people hitting me up, seeing me I was back online, shit like that.
Sorry about you, dude.
I was like, sorry, I'm not about that no more. Like,
is that hard to do?
No, it wasn't. I mean, it sucked because I've never been one to want to. Not going into this, but you know, because of other things growing up, I always had my friends.
You're real friends.
Yeah.
Genuine friends.
And no matter
drug
what,
friends.
I treated all my friends like family.
I remember you being tight with a lot of people.
So it sucks having to cut those people out, but it was something I had to do. If I was going to go
for your
forward,
safety.
Yeah, if I was going to go forward, if I was going to stay clean, make things right with my family, make things right with my girls, my ex, everything, that I had to do this.
Sure.
Like, when I got out, I was 41. And
what's that feel like? Start over at 41 from zero.
It sucks.
Do you feel good about how far you've come?
Oh, hell yeah. In a year and a half, yeah. I've been at the same job for almost a year now. I like it. I like the people I work with.
It's great. It matters.
Making pretty decent money for what I do.
That's cool. Yeah, I was surprised, to be honest, when you told me. I was like, wow.
And so, I mean, you know, I really have no complaints.
Do you like your life now?
Yeah. I mean, I got a real tight circle that I deal with.
Stay safe.
You being a good chunk of that one.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, I mean, there's a few things I wish I had still, but who knows? One day I might get them again.
So you have hope?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not dwelling on it, but it's there.
All right.
So,
can I ask you the questions I honestly want to know? And you're welcome to pass on any of them.
Yeah, but you do know some of the ones we're not
Sure.
going to even mention.
That's completely fair. I never want to have an uncomfortable conversation with anybody.
Well, no, I just don't want to put that even out there.
Completely fair. I think you'll find where I'm inquisitive to be some pretty safe spaces. I really do, starting at the beginning of you paying for your crime, right? I want to ask, how did our court system treat you? I'm really curious.
The court system was good.
Okay. They're pretty fair to you. I mean, they let you go to rehab?
Like when everything first happened, oh, they're out to get me. They're out to get me. Well, I did do it. And, it's just their reasons and my reasons were so off key that it just made me feel like I was getting fucked over. And I wasn't. Looking at it now, I wasn't.
Do you feel that what they assigned to you to repay was fair?
Oh, very fair.
Very fair meaning you felt it was lenient, or very fair meaning
for what I could have been doing, yeah.
You're grateful for that?
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you feel that when you've completed what's court ordered, that's going to repay the people you've harmed in that situation?
God, I hope so, because what happened to them, it was messed up, but yeah, they're definitely benefiting from the situation. I'll put it that way.
Sure. How's your relationship with your daughters now?
Great. I talk to them.
I like to hear that about anybody.
I get my weekends with them. I get to see them during the week here and there.
Sure.
Once in a while, I'll just get one of them, and like I'm the oldest one, and my ex-wife will have the youngest one for the weekend, so they just get some one-on-one time. Then, like a couple weeks later, we'll switch.
That's cool.
So each of them get some good one-on-one time too, which
that's great.
It's awesome. You get to do a little different things at times, and you don't hear the bickering. I want to do this. I want to do this.
I have to share, it was really strange for me. You and I had never not spoken for like 5 years ever. We hadn't spoken for like 5 months, not spoken rather, for like 5 months ever. So that was pretty wild for me. And there were some points I was pretty upset at you, of course, but in abbreviated terms, I missed being around the girls, and I was mad at you for that, but I just missed them. They're great girls. I loved hanging out with your wife. So part of that was difficult for me. And I know that there's a lot of family stuff that ties into it, but I think that my questions lie more on the side of, do you believe in a soul? And if so, do you think it has a ledger?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe we have a soul?
I believe there's something.
Something meaning something more than this tangible world we're
Right.
in?
I think there's something.
Do you think
what it is? I don't know. I get it being a freaking cuttlefish floating through the freaking cosmos.
We're a jellyfish in aliens koi pond.
Right.
Right. Our whole universe.
Or turn into some magical space dolphin and be friends with Loki. Who the frick knows?
I think you should write for Marvel. So, do you believe that something is keeping record, keeping score, keeping track? Does your soul
not really like doing tallies on your ass, but
so no heaven and hell,
I think when something does happen, like there's the sayings that there is, like you reap what you sow. What comes around comes around.
Sure.
And it definitely does.
Do you feel like you can make right what you've done wrong in your life?
Oh yeah.
You feel like you'd make up for it? Okay.
A lot of it, say about 90%. There's just some things I can't because it just can't.
Sure.
But
what's the thing you lost from the situation that affects you the most?
My family.
What do you want to say to people that have their family still right now, but they're doing the dope and they're maybe in that hazy area where they're going to lose control of everything? What do you want to say to people?
Because I know the mindset they're in, don't really know what to say.
Doesn't matter what you say in your opinion?
Pretty much. I mean, when you're in that mindset, you just kind of think of your own, but I've heard stories when I was at that period, like, I was there. This happened to me. It's going to happen to you, blah, blah.
You're going to lose it all.
No, fuck you, whatever.
Paddle out in big surf, brah.
Right? And
yeah, I understand that.
But I mean, no matter what, it's not worth it.
Did the drug ever fill the hole?
Oh, big time.
I mean, you were aces. You were walking through life. You're okay today.
Mm-hmm.
And you could keep that going for how long at a time? I'm curious.
I go for days.
And then you crash really hard?
No, I mean, I'd sleep every day pretty much. Once in a while, like maybe the first day I'd stay up all night, but I still slept.
So the lack of sleep, does that start to affect your mind as heavily as...
Oh, God, yes. Hell, anyone's not slept knows that the next day they've worked their shit because they just can't freaking concentrate because they didn't have any sleep. We'll try doing that for a few days. You know, there's people telling stories in jail and shit. Well, I did 10 days. Bullshit. You'd die.
Yeah? Do you think 10 days will kill you?
Well, you can only go a certain amount of days without water.
Oh, okay. I see. No, that's peripheral to what I was saying, but I get it. I think the human body only goes without sleep.
I mean, you pretty much just need, like, some people just totally crash out just because their body just said, fuck it, we're done.
Sure.
And sometimes that makes you overamp, and that's how you have big ass mass heart attack and die too.
You have any fear of that?
Not anymore, because I'm not doing it. Do I feel like I've done damage to my body? Yeah. Do I feel like I've taken years off? Definitely.
Sure.
Am I scared it could happen anytime? Yeah. Is there anything I can do about it? I'm doing it.
If we could focus on another moment and you could say something to those people that are wanting off the train, that are in that moment, that might hear your words, what would you say to them if they're on that fence? What do they do? Where do they go? How do they get clean?
Just one, you got to want to. You got to be ready to. And there's places, hell, everyone's got a freaking access to the internet now on their phones or someone's phone, a friend's phone, whatever phone.
There's a squirrel in that oak tree in my backyard, and I swear to God, I see him on Facebook at night.
Right. And
you're not supposed to swear to God, but squirrels aren't supposed to have cell phones.
No, I mean, definitely not a laptop.
It's nuts.
But
yeah, baby. All right, so.
But no, I mean, just do it. It's worth it. I mean,
it's worth it how?
It's going to suck when you realize everything you've done wrong.
Right.
Because that's a real smack to the face, too, when you just have that clarification of, oh, shit.
But does it feel better on this side?
It does once you actually do something about it.
So if there's somebody standing over a toilet right now with a bag or about to throw that pipe out the window and they're on the fence.
Do it.
And you're telling them fucking do it because it feels better today.
Right. It's worth it.
You can get your life back?
Yeah.
Well, you've certainly built a life, right? I'm witnessing it myself. And I don't think people are really aware you and I reconnected and I really didn't worry about it specifically because we used to have a big family, and I suppose we still do, but you don't feel it anymore. It used to be close-knit.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of that was that centralization of the matriarch, the patriarch. We had grandma, then we had grandpa still. And I think that kind of goes to hell when the younger generation, whatever the different generation is, and there's 4 of us below them now, are supposed to be the ones holding it together. I don't think that we cinch the strings the same way the grandparents did, because I think the ethics and traditions are different, not as deep rooted with our generations. Unfortunately, we showed up for Christmas. They were doing it all year long and throwing the different events at their house. We were always showing up to their house.
Right.
A lot of that's gone away for different reasons, but I've heard you convey to me after we reconnected and had a legitimate conversation, adult conversation, that you felt really misrepresented. Is there anything you'd like to say that you feel like would air things out? Is there a final word you'd like to have?
Not really.
That's pretty gangster.
I mean, for the simple fact that, you know, you want to know how I'm doing? Send me a message. Text me. Call me.
And what if they don't want to know how you're doing?
No, I will.
Sure. That's life, right?
I read some Actually, I might have saved it. And it hit home so damn hard. All right, here it is.
Go ahead.
When you truly don't care what anyone thinks of you, you have reached a dangerously awesome level of freedom.
Dangerously awesome.
Okay. I'll read that again because I totally messed up.
Good.
When you truly don't care what anyone thinks of you, you have reached a dangerously awesome level of freedom.
Who do you care thinks about you? What they think about you? Who in your life are you concerned with what they think about you?
My daughters.
That's cool.
You know, like the old saying, you know, the daughters usually marry someone like their dad. Oh, help, God, please no.
Do you feel equipped as a father to weed somebody out? Do you feel like you have?
Oh, I'm gonna scare
some street
shit's pretty damn bad at first. Yeah.
I mean, you got like legit street knowledge, right? You got legit street cred.
I mean, just I've been there, I've done that. Very much.
So you can smell it.
Can think of anymore.
See, CD, that's what I'm saying. I grew
mean,
up
they
Long
might.
Beach.
I mean, but we were that age
we
too.
did everything.
We thought we were slyer than the parents.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
sure, yeah. All of
no
us.
matter what, you're at that age, you're gonna think you're more crafty. You're gonna think you're more slick, and the whole time, like, you look here, you little peckerhead.
So you get caught with that bell,
I'll crush you with a freaking grape.
I do honestly want to ask, man. Do you feel like going to prison taught you something?
Oh yeah. Don't ever go to prison again.
Okay, I can respect that, and this is normally a pretty fun show.
I mean, look at this way. You're stuck in a pod that can have up to, you know, from 12 to 18 people in it to 84. And you're just around each other. Like, your bunkie. Depends where you're at. Like, when I was in Kansas, you were locked down for 19 hours a day in your cell.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I was by myself pretty much the whole time. But the times I did have a bunkie, I was like, I had this one weird guy who like would cry and sing to himself to get him to go to sleep.
No way, your roommate in prison was weird.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's extra weird though. Was he like serial killerish or something? Did he used to drive an ice cream truck?
Like, I think he was just kind of. I think he was just kind of an old country boy that did dope and got caught up in it and, you know, got busted. He never really, I think he got busted for a bunch of warrants, but, you know.
Like how country boy jacked up are we talking? Like deep south and on a lot of meth kind of thing?
He was on the verge of a little banjo playing music, but.
You tell you have a pretty mouth?
No.
You got some chong. So, you know, tell me about that though. Like what's your time in prison doing to you? Like not what are you doing in a day? I've heard you describe it and I've seen documentaries. I think most people kind of grasp it. I don't think they know what really goes on, but I just mean, what does it do to you as a human existence, your persona, your opinions? What do you reflect on?
You don't have an opinion.
I don't
You're
mean
told when to, pretty much like when, you know, when to sleep, when to eat, when to, you know, come out and move around for a while. Like you during rec, you couldn't stay in your cell.
Sure.
You know, you had to come out, and depends where you're at. You know, you just go play some ball, watch some TV, play some cards, some dominoes, something like that.
Do you feel like it's pretty lax for what it is? Do you feel like you're being punished? Is it pretty terrible? Is it just the loss of your freedom?
It's just being broken down.
Sure.
I mean, you're nothing but a number. You don't mean shit. You get hurt, they don't fucking care. You're sick, they don't fucking care.
Does that make you want to get clean off dope? Does it make you want to go back to dope? Does it make you want to?
Definitely was like, I'd never want to come back to this shit again.
But the prison experience, what does it do to your psyche? I mean...
Okay, like when I got out, you know, and couldn't have anyone walk behind me. And nothing ever really happened. You know, yeah, I got a couple fights, but...
Did you fire all your backup dancers? I'm sorry, I had to. That's not fair in a serious interview to just fuck around like that. We're going to have to edit this out. It's totally fair. It's the Cardo Vodcast.
Kicking the balls.
I know that you had a lot of problems worrying about violence against you. Did you see some of that in prison a little bit?
It wasn't really violence. It's just, when you stand someplace, you stand there back against the wall.
Sure.
Like a lot of people walk around a lot. So, I mean, you're always kind of learning, like, okay, come around. If you're sitting there playing cards, it just depends where you're at, too. I mean, like, I was in 4 different counties by the time it was all said and done before I went to prison for treatment. And each one was different. Now, the Kansas one is a little more amped up, a lot more people.
Okay. Better care?
No.
No.
That's where you're stuck in your
So,
cell for 19 hours a day.
well, where I was going with that earlier to clarify was like you mentioned your cellmate, country boy on meth. It seems like you experienced and were around a lot of guys that were in there for something similar to yours. And I want to know if the experience of prison was beneficial to you in some way. Do you feel like
because
our
I was kind of
system
getting to
made you
see
wanna...
it through my own eyes at the same time. Like, okay, this is what I'm doing to myself too.
Sure. Did you talk to those guys?
Oh yeah. I mean, you have no choice but to talk to your bunkie.
Sure.
And you learn, you talk. I mean, talking about it, just about anything and everything.
Sure.
Helps your psyche while you're in, for the fact you're not in there talking to yourself.
Sure. I think the worst thing that we can do to a person is put them alone, and I think that the studies done on like solitary confinement, more serious prison settings,
I've never been a reader, been in there. I mean, crap, I read close to 150 books in that entire time.
Yeah. What kind of books did you read?
Anything from like, Jack Reacher novels, Western novels, pretty much anything.
Louis L'Amour. Sure.
Louis L'Amour, William S. Johnstone.
Cool.
Couple others. There's one other one that was pretty good too. I can't remember his name.
How long have you been clean? Because I'm gonna tie it back to what you were just talking about.
Less than a month away from 3 years.
All right, man. Congratulations.
And
that's great.
I haven't touched it once.
You scared to?
Not really.
Not really a temptation anymore.
No, like
it doesn't really
when
exist.
I got I think like a couple days after I finally came home, I was kind of just going through my room, just kind of relearning where shit's at, kind of rearranging stuff, cleaning up, and I found a pipe. It was loaded. Yeah, I had a split second. Oh.
Yeah, and then what flashed in your
I
mind?
was like, nope. I went downstairs, grabbed 2 or 3 paper bags, put the pipe in there, rolled it up, stomped the fuck out of it with one of my shoes, and threw it away.
That's cool. That's a cool moment, right? It's a
good.
growth moment.
Well, it felt good. So, I mean, that puddle was there. I mean, yeah, it would have been old, but it still would have smoked. Still would have got me fucked up.
Right.
Would have gave me that little taste. If that's all it takes, that one little taste.
I feel like you can only pass meaningful tests when nobody's looking, and only ever know if you passed them. Right. That's
right, and that's kind of what that was
and...
to me. It's like, there's no one around. That is something I would have never have done before.
What did it mean to you to be to that point?
It felt good. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And got out. I found some meetings, started going to them. And after a while, though, the meetings just, it was like going through the motions.
Sure.
Not saying anything bad about the meetings itself, but for me, it's not my cup of tea at all.
So I'm sure people would like to know what keeps you clean.
Getting to wake up in my bed every morning, going to work, spending time with my daughters, spending time with my mom, spending time with some family and friends I still have. Doing the work. For once in my life, I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Is that a growth
I
for
get
you?
up, I go to work. I don't call in. I don't, complain about it too bad. Yeah, I got hard days. Who doesn't? Got days I don't want to go to work. Who doesn't? Still get up and go. Right now we're so short-handed. If I call in, we're fucked. But
Oh, I'm gonna send Aiden.
So they already like that at Target.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in there.
Side note: have you seen all the closings for a lot of the restaurants for the nights? All of a sudden,
No.
because they're so short-staffed, they don't have enough people to work the night shifts, so they're closing early. And there's some well-known like places at the lake.
Really?
Couple restaurants.
Wild.
Can't remember which one it was, but one was like, damn, really?
Interesting. Always a shortage of good people, right?
Well, it's like everyone says, like, there's no one hiring. There's no one hiring. Well, shit.
I watch a lot of documentaries.
Right now, no one wants to work because they're making more money off of it than anything.
Are people still getting paid like PPP unemployment? Is that still a thing?
I think it's still going until, next month?
Seriously? Okay.
Like,
I mean, some
everyone's
places
getting,
got hit
an
really hard.
additional, like, $300 every freaking week.
Showing too much skin over here.
Or where?
Oh, no, just my shorts are right on the backside. So I watch a lot of documentaries because I can't help it. I have trouble with fiction anymore. I can watch really good fiction, like anything Leonardo DiCaprio's done recently. I can watch really good sci-fi. I can watch mind-bending stuff. But
Of course, anything comic.
yeah, anything comic, Marvel Universe, DC, I love it all. Right, I love what Disney's doing with Star Wars franchise right now anyway, because Mandalorian is just so juicy, right? It's just so good.
I've heard about the new one.
No.
And supposedly it's about, what's it called? Like the Black Squad or something like that. It's a group of them that just kind of go rogue.
Oh, I did see an ad for that. Yeah, sure. It looks great.
It looks cool. I guess like they're going to have Bubba in it or something.
That's cool.
So.
Well, so I watch all these documentaries and I fell into TED Talks and I recommend them to everybody. They're 20 minutes long on a particular subject by a true expert in their field. I mean, it's just like a concentration of information. Everybody can do 20 minutes on the brain, right?
Right.
So, excuse me. One of the really powerful ones I watched was on addiction, and there was a really profound addiction study done. And he sort of ended the talk with his summation was that the opposite of addiction was not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. Do you feel that's true?
Yeah, in a way.
I mean, you were missing something in your life. You were missing a friend. You had worried something. There was a hole.
Yeah, I mean, just every day-to-day frustration.
And you just let that get a
It
hold of you.
just took it all away.
The common tasks of a day just don't hurt
Anything.
anymore. Sure.
And, that would cause you stress. Or, I mean, the only thing you would stress out about now is like, where you're going to find some.
Yeah, I always wonder about that. Like white wine moms, that's a serious thing, and you people know who you are. And I'm not judging. I'm judging in no way, but it's a real thing. And I think our society spends a lot of time pretending alcohol isn't a drug and coffee isn't a drug, or caffeine, to be specific, of course. And
I mean, cigarettes.
I used to be a little judgmental. I'm not judgmental at all anymore, I hope. I'm trying very hard not to be. I'm trying to make that leap in my journey. But I have to ask you, do people change?
Yeah.
I believe that too. What do you think gets them there? Like, what do you think helps people really change?
The main thing comes down to it. You gotta want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be told. You can't be forced.
Can't be punished into it.
Nope.
So what about all those guys in prison so that they'll stop doing meth? Is that going to work?
If they want it to. I mean, what worked for me isn't going to work for anyone else.
Did the therapy?
I mean, there's a chance.
Sure.
Everything happened for a reason with me. That's the way I look at it. Like, the times that I got away without getting caught.
You paid for it.
The times I did get caught and still, got put on probation or got bonded out. I mean, how one time I got arrested. What the fuck? It was a Friday night. got bonded out Sunday afternoon, and got arrested again Wednesday night.
That's some Jesse James shit, man.
And then straight spent the next like 3 weeks in jail, missed Christmas.
Fuck.
Now it's the first time it happened. I missed 2 Christmases, just at different times. And
So-
then like 5 months later is when that happened. I went to jail for 15 months.
Sure.
And there's this.
Wake up call, huh?
It was. I mean, I just wanted to be done with it. I had my chance. And yeah, there's a lot of times I'm like, fuck. You know, when you start hitting that, 6-month mark, year mark. I mean, I spent 6 months in one certain jail waiting on a public defender.
That sounds about right.
Every month I go up, oh, none available, we'll bring it back next month. Just like, you freaking kidding me.
Let me ask you about that, because I really don't have an opinion, but I'm curious. Did you feel like you deserved one? Because that wasn't a speedy trial, right? That wasn't swift.
No, and I was there on probation violation. That's all that was.
Sure. 6 months.
But
on
the
a
thing
speeding
about it
ticket
is,
kind of thing, yeah.
that particular, I'm not going to put no names out there, but that particular jail is known for overpopulating their jail because you get more money. You get the state gives you.
That's every private jail in America.
Right.
Get fucked.
And
it's
it
all
came
corporate
out
dollars,
that
baby.
there was a certain higher up, judge-wise, that owned the property the jail sat on and got a percentage of that each month because he owned the property.
Is that a real thing? That's true.
There's a God honest real thing.
I mean, it's not
The
outlandish. in a way.
judge
I
was
completely
forced
believe
to
it, of course.
retire or face charges
All right.
after like a lifetime on the bench.
Yeah.
And
Aha.
but the
I
same
like
way,
how they
same
tell
thing. He got busted, but
So,
he walked away from it.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, there was some cells that only had 2 beds, but there was 3 or 4 people in there. I mean, you still had like your pad to sleep on, but you're sleeping on the floor.
is that legal?
Oh, hell no.
Just is what it is.
Because you would know, like when inspections came around, all of a sudden they start shuffling people.
Sure.
You saw no new faces coming in, but you saw people getting shuffled from one pod to another.
Is that so you got a bed sometimes?
That's so they weren't overpopulated. They passed inspection.
Oh, shit.
And then as soon as it was over with, getting stacked again.
That's intense.
It was fucked up.
Do you feel like our legal system's fair? You've been deeper into it than anybody I know personally, so I'm curious. Was it when it all shook out at
When
the
it
end?
comes
Did you
down
kind of
to
get what you
me,
deserved?
when it comes down to me, yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm just asking your opinion, not for the, there's no
For
overall
everything
answer.
I've done and what I could have faced and what I did face and everything, I was considered more than fair, or, treated more than fair.
Okay.
I was given a chance.
Okay.
Now, if I was to mess up again and face all that over, I'll probably am going that different route.
Right.
But I'm not going to take that chance.
Oh, it'd be dumb, man.
It's just not worth it.
If you could say something to you 7 years ago before it got deep, plain words, what would you say to you?
Pretty much telling the exact, because I still remember the exact time. Not the exact time, but when that first use happened, I said, when you go tonight, don't do it.
Not worth it.
Just, stay the fuck away from it.
And what do you think would have helped you hold on to that moment of strength the next day, the next temptation? What would have filled the hole? What would have helped?
I don't know.
Do you feel like people...
Probably just not so much tell myself to suck it up, buttercup, but
Yeah? Toughen up?
just like, look, you're going to get through this. You just got to ask for help. Like if I would have gone to my ex-wife and said, look, this is what's going on. I don't want to do this no more. I want us to be fixed. I want everything. Help me. She would have in a heartbeat.
I know her, and I know that to be true, of course. What stopped you? What was the fear?
I didn't think I had a problem. The whole mindset.
You do it, and it tells you don't have a problem.
Exactly.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
Or, you try to when it starts an argument and that part kicks in and then you're doing no wrong.
Go Nitro.
Yeah, it's just...
Boom.
It's a double-edged sword. There's no good thing from it. Do I miss some of the things and effects of the drugs? Yeah. Those things were fun. Is it worth it? No. Is it going to make me do it again? No.
That's a powerful evaluation, man.
I
mean, it's serious growth as a human.
But who even knows the fucking shape I'd be in right now if I would have kept going the way I was.
Or if you'd be in any shape.
Except, vertical or horizontally on a freaking hole somewhere.
Buried. I'm really glad it didn't go that way. Obviously, I don't have to say that to you. When you grow up with somebody like a brother and you watch him go through something like that, it's difficult. It was probably maybe particularly difficult for me because I didn't have a lot of room to talk. I had my own struggles.
Yeah, you had your own demons going at the time, and that's what caused us to separate like we did.
Sure.
Because my demons, your demons, were not good bedfellows. And it caused us to clash in a way that we never had before. That was new territory for us.
It really was.
Here we are in our late 30s and we're in mid-30s, and we're facing territory we never faced before. Shit's coming out we've never said before.
Yeah.
But I think that's... Did I honestly think it needed to happen? In a way, yeah. Between us. Like, we had to have it out a few times.
As adults, not as 10-year-olds.
Right. Because we never fought.
Yeah.
We always had fun.
Yeah, it's like that in a good relationship. The fights are bad because you're unequipped to fight. You don't have any practice at it.
Right. And then having it out like we finally did, even though it was not the way it should have happened, for sure.
Sure.
But being able to come back from that, like I've told you before, it feels so good to be back at this spot with you again. Because this is what we always talked about growing up.
It certainly feels like we graduated some point. This is a new chapter.
Right.
I like the house I bought. I like the car I drive. I like the people I spend time with. And there's certainly a lot of maturity compared to what we used to spend our time doing.
Oh, yeah.
I felt... I'm never going to be completely mature, right? Let's be honest. We invented Saturday morning cartoons. We're Toys R Us kids. Yeah, that's right. But I do certainly feel that we graduated something, and we've, probably just closed a chapter on our lives, and that's nice.
Beating those demons.
Yeah, truly.
And we kind of did it during the same time. Just yours went a whole one way, and mine went a whole another way. And we kind of came back together right when that was all coming to an end and beginning again. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it was really natural.
I just got out. You just got divorced.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be natural for you and I to reconnect. It was a matter of, was the static resolvable, right?
And it was. When I first showed up that first night, you were kind of like, what the fuck?
It was wild.
Plus, you didn't know it was actually me because you hadn't seen me, and I looked definitely a lot different.
Dude, I hadn't seen you in a couple of years. Yeah, I literally didn't recognize you standing on my porch at my front door. It took a minute, really. I'm glad to see you back to yourself.
Right.
And see, I've described to people the Justin that I always knew, the fun-loving guy that I always hung out with, and we had like really good kid fun together all the time because that's what you should be doing with your free times, enjoying it, right? And we were the best of pals. Something changed in both of us. People change. We both kind of had a dark time. Mine was very different than yours. Doesn't matter. It obliterates your life for a while.
Right.
But I think that real human beings pull themselves up by their bootstraps and figure out, status check, what the fuck's going on in my life? What do I need to change? And we both did that. And that's a nice test to pass. And you could fail it tomorrow. So could I. Everybody can. But it really is kind of a proud moment to have actually dealt with things.
When people actually ask me how it's going, and I can say, pretty good. I mean it. That's kind of cool to be able to actually say, because no one ever really means, well, you know, I'm doing good.
It's earnest.
You know, and it's just natural reaction. But right now, doing great. I mean,
That's really nice to hear.
I got good people around me. I get my girls. I got a good job.
Is that the meaning of life? You've got a good rhythm to the one you've got?
Right. And I mean, it's kind of like, I get it. Yeah, it's the same old song and dance day after day. But the little things, I've always been a little things guy. You know, getting that weekend with my girls, getting that just to see them for an hour or two during the week or something, talking to them on the phone. It makes it all worth it.
Sure.
You know, hanging out with my friends. I mean, when you're stuck around the same people for 6 fucking months.
Yeah, right. Helps if they're cool. And if they're not, damn.
And I mean, someone irks you the wrong way, you can't get away from them.
Yeah.
You're forced to deal with it, and you're treated like freaking animals. And you start acting like them.
Affect you?
I mean, people, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, you kind of get a chip on your shoulder against the freaking people working there because they're assholes. Well, they're assholes because of shit we do. You know, you always tell the new guys because they're friendly. They don't walk in and say, all right, fuckers.
They're not jaded yet?
Right. You know, I'm bleeding. Tough shit.
Is that a real thing?
Oh.
Tough shit?
Yeah. I mean, trust me, when something happens, unless like there's like a riot or like, you know, you start banging a dude's head off the freaking, you know, metal freaking tables and all of a sudden crack blood or something. Yeah, there ain't no rush. Like the few fights I had in there, it was already done over with, and I'm sitting back down. The other dude's sitting back down, and
they're like, yeah, stop that.
They come in, all right, what's going on? We're like, next. You know, and they pull us out and talk to us, and, you know.
Okay.
You know what's funny, though, is one of them, I kind of gave me a whole new respect for, you know, guards. Me and this one dude gets into it. I didn't think he was going to do it. And he did. He punches me. And he's right in front of me. He just goes, bap, like that. Hits me in my head, just kind of does this.
For the record, Justin's 6'3", 330?
Yeah. 6'4".
Professional football player, ex-professional football player. I would correct someone over an inch too. I would. Excuse me. 6'4".
Yeah. Size 18 shoe.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he hits me, my head just kind of does this. And all of a sudden, I look back at him, and I see the look on his face go from, oh, shit. And I'm like, run. And he takes off, and I chase him down. Dude tried to run into a shower with another guy in there to get away from me. I think it was my celly who was in the shower. Also hurried up, go, what the fuck is going on? And I grabbed him by the shirt and I threw him down. I had him in the block. And I'm like, all right, you got one or two choices. One, this is over now. And don't ever do something stupid like that again. Or two, I'm going to bang your head off this table when we get up.
Does anyone ever take option B?
And he's like,
is anyone like,
he's like, oh, I'm done if you're done. I'm like, hold on. I stood up and went, bang, bounced his head one time, said, now I'm done, let go. And a little bit later.
So they have ping pong in prison?
Yeah, a little bit like I had his arms locked where he couldn't even put them in front to help him. I banged his head one time off the table.
Sounds incriminating.
And I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. Fucking, we get in trouble.
You guys get in trouble.
He busted my lip a little bit when he hit me, but that's the only thing. So I had a little bit of blood right there. And they come in, they look at it, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, shit, my daughter's hit me harder. And they're like, so you don't want to, like, no, I said, no, there's no reason. It's done, it's over with. Just squash it. Because I didn't want to go to the freaking solitaire room pod where you're locked down for 23 hours a day, get 1 hour out by yourself.
It's rough. It's pretty inhuman.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, let's just squash it. There's nothing done. And he came in later. He came back in later. You know, I said, hey.
After he finished the shower.
I'm like, we good? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, squash it. Shook hands. So it's done. And then about 2 weeks later, I asked if I come out and exchange books. You had to go out to where the guards were, and they had a box there. You could turn one book in and get a new book.
That's pretty cool.
And there's this one guy, I mean, he always worked like the late shift because he didn't like to move too much.
What was he in prison for, like robbing a circle?
No, he was a guard.
Oh, I believe you.
And it was kind of like, if something went down, what the hell are you really going to do?
I don't know, man. I feel
like that little taser's only got one shot, and that mace ain't going to get you too far.
I feel like if you're allowed to carry a weapon and police other humans, you should be physically fit for so many reasons, but without being judgy, so that you're less likely to just pull a weapon that can really hurt somebody, right?
Right. I mean, you shouldn't be the definition where Fluffy goes, damn!
Right? Pillsbury Doughboy comes at you and gets a look at you. He's going to tase your ass. Well,
right.
People have heart conditions. People die from that shit. It's problems. You know? But he
I mean, hell, he could have a heart attack trying to move fast.
Sure. All right. Well, now we're going to get hate mail from prison guards.
Oh, no names being named. I mean, that could be any jail in America.
Mr. Phil Berry.
And
we do very serious interviews on this show,
right.
As you can tell, sir.
Anyway, he starts laughing. He goes, hey, Barnett. I'm like, what? He goes, because they always call your last name in there. Like, I almost forgot my first name was Justin.
That's fair.
And he goes, thanks for the entertainment. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like,
fuckers had cameras.
He's like, for the last 2 weeks, we've been taking turns watching that video of you banging his head off the table.
CCTMMA Guard TV. Hey, Liz, dude, bounce
like,
this dude's head off a table.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, we've all been taking turns laughing because the guy that was in this happened with, he was well known in the jail. He's been there a lot. He thinks he's smooth. Nothing but a fucking. I hate to call someone a piece of shit, but you know, never once is gonna like matter to the equivalence of life on Earth.
That's fair.
And no one liked him. Like, he always get put in different pods because he get chased out.
Who you have to be unpopular in prison.
I know, right? Well, then he was a snitch too.
Ah, fuck, that's rough, man.
You know,
That's
he was looking at some hard time, but he was rolling on his partner.
What were they in for? What did they do?
I'm not going to put that out.
Oh, okay, that's fair. No, I'm sorry. I didn't think about the politics of it.
But anyway,
sorry,
like,
Crowbar Joey.
He's like, yeah, we've been laughing our asses off watching you bounce his head off a freaking table like that. It's like, one, it's funny when he punches because we're all like, here it comes. And then he just takes off running, and you're just like 3 steps, had him by the shirt, and you're like, come here, just grabbed him. And he's like, yeah, we've been having, I said, can I see it?
Dude, you got to come do an episode of
I'm
just
like,
prison life.
I'm
Just
like,
tell us
dude,
how it really
you got to
is.
like take me back. So just take me there and just show me real quick. Put me in cuffs. You know, he's like, I can't. I'm like, come on, you can't tell me about that and not let me watch it now.
It's fucked up. The guys in the shower had him.
And I was just like, fuck. But that was like one of the
If
funniest.
someone was running at you and you're in the shower, are you flattered for a minute?
I'm kind of frightened. I was like,
Well, the thing is, that Pacific jail, like, you have like one wall, and that's where all the cells are. Then you have one shower stall with a curtain, and then a sink and a toilet right there with a curtain.
But no prize wall.
Facing the mirrors that are one way that the guard, because it's like a big octagon. And you walk into the middle of it, and there's a station for the guards. And there's a big walkway around that has doors in each pot. But it's like big one giant one-way looking mirrors going around. That's why they can watch you, but you can't really see them unless you get up against the glass and do this. And then they like flash a light at you, like, it's like,
okay,
I see you. Like, no, you don't. You know. So I mean, like, when he tore through that shower, it's just a stall with a curtain. So as soon as you try going in there, I mean, it's just like, what the fuck? You know? It's like the next thing you know, the curtain's being ripped open and there's someone in there with you. You don't know what to think. It's not like you see him coming at all. And
hopefully that never happens.
Well, it is jail. But like that was like one of the things like I actually look back and kind of chuckle over was just some of this stupid shit like that because it ended up being so comical.
Right. Yeah, I really didn't expect to hear too many comical stories about prison.
Here I am and getting told by a freaking guard that they're taking turns and watching it over and over and over in replay. Being bonging this dude's head off a freaking table. And I was like, where else would this happen?
I do think it's nice that in a setting like that, I mean, a literal prison, that you can find a way to smile. That's pretty cool. Because they stuck me in and I'd die in a day.
I mean, you got people that are actually funny.
That's cool. That
know it. So they kind of take the role of keeping everyone laughing and doing stupid shit.
Class clowns.
Like, yeah, treatment. There's this one dude. I don't know why, but anytime like someone come in just like a little pissed off, you know, just mad at the world that day, or just kind of walk in like you didn't really belong in that room. He's
in prison. Does he ever walk in singing show tunes? I'd be mad at the world every day.
I pretty much like he would, or he'd have a shirt off. He's always after treatment hours when it would happen. He would just drop trowel and walk at you naked like this going, is this what you want? Is this what you want?
I feel like that's a t-shirt now.
And it's like,
I feel like the second you post this video, that's on t-shirts, like, okay, something.com.
Like, I've seen this dude's junk way too many times, and not in the, like, definitely in the wrong fucking environment to see his junk this many times.
That's the title of the video now.
You know, and you just get other people that do crazy shit, and you're just like, I mean, it's totally like, why the hell are we doing this? Why the hell are you whipping your dick out? But for some reason, it's so fucking comical.
So real shit though, just dealing with that kind of lunacy every day just start to fuck up your head
after a while, because you do got a couple, you know, people definitely.
I don't have to see too many dicks unexpectedly.
Well, not that, but you just got people in there that are like fucking nuts. But you learn just stuff like this. How you doing? You doing all right?
Are you able to stay to yourself? Stay away
from
coffee. There's some nutbags in there, right?
Oh yeah.
Scary shit. Scary guys, murderers.
Oh yeah. Not like in treatments so much, but like when I was in Kansas, that was pretty much the worst one I was at. It wasn't like worst as in like being in jail, but it was the worst of who you're in there with.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a guy down below me was in there for 2 murders.
Was he a serious dude?
Kinda, but we played ball. Like here I am playing ball with a guy
who's
on 2 murder charges.
Dude's just playing b-ball.
Who with me he's cool with, but you know, that could change in this, you know, all of a sudden someone showing up on his shoulder going, kill him.
Yeah.
I
would have maybe not
It
played
was
ball.
nuts, but I mean, you gotta tell him no, we can't play.
No, him and his friends I can't see are welcome to play balls. I'm gonna pass the ball right to nobody.
Plus, you need another guy.
He's like, I got one. I was kidding.
He's like, shit, no, I gotta find another. No, but I mean, I had no problems with anybody. Like, I got into a couple fights, but it was pretty much because you're in there.
You get into a couple of fights going to Walmart for paper towels.
But yeah, but the reason they happen was because you're in there with the same people day in, day out, day in, day out. Same routine.
So you're not an advocate for marriage then, huh?
It's not that. I mean,
I get it. No, I get it. That's a tense environment.
Their daily clicks eventually just start annoying the fuck out of you.
Are you talking about like gang shit?
No, not like clicks as in like a click, like they're little clicks of their body. Like, you know, some people just do certain things.
Oh, sure.
And after a while, you're just like, stop doing that. It's
you about to get
annoying.
you some French fried taters?
Something. It's just like this one dude, like for some reason, everyone walks a certain way when you walk around the pod. Just so you're moving around, not sit on, freaking metal. And this one dude would always walk the opposite way.
Just to be a contrarian.
Well, you notice it at first because no one ever walks that way. After a couple months, you're like, dude.
Is he from England?
I don't know. He could be.
It's fine.
He was just going the opposite way. He was on the left.
He's like, undignified Americans driving on the wrong side of the road, heathens.
But, it's just sort of like that. And you're just like, eventually go, why do you walk that way? When in society, you'd never give two shits and a fuck about.
Right. So, I mean, I'm dead curious, seriously, because I know you're telling some of the funnier juvenile stories, the lighthearted side of it, but I've heard you tell some of the more profound stories about what it did for you going through the therapy and stuff like that. And you don't have to tell that story again, but I just want people to be aware that, you opted for special prisons where you could get therapy for addiction during your jail time.
A 90-day treatment.
How much did that turn things around for you?
A lot.
Yeah?
Like, there was 2 counselors. The one I had, she was cool, very laid back, easy to talk to. The other woman, she was a bitch.
Okay.
It was almost like that good cop, bad cop, but it's like she was just a bitch.
Bad cop Terminator.
She'd tell you to shut up if you try to argue with her.
That sounds
and
like
not really argue,
poor
just
therapy.
Like, but like if she's saying this is this way, and you're like, well, what about this? Shut up, you're stupid.
Can you imagine a therapist? Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
now shut the fuck up and go to sleep.
Yikes. But you had somebody give you some real help in there, and it contributed to
luckily I had the other one, and she was a real help. And when I got out, about a month later, I messaged her and just said, hey, I'm doing good. Thank you again for everything. And she messaged me back saying, you're welcome. Glad everything's going good. And I think I talked to her maybe about 6-7 months ago. I sent her another message to say, hey, things are still going good. Thank you again.
That's pretty powerful that you would want to reach back out to somebody that gave you help and that they would in turn respond to you again.
Without her, I wouldn't have done treatment.
You wouldn't have made it through, huh?
No.
What do you think that would have looked like?
I would have got my back up. 7 years. I would have done about 2.5 of it. So I would probably end up being in jail in prison another 1.5 years because I already had time in.
Yikes.
So.
Another Christmas.
Yep, another birthday.
Right. So.
Or it could have been longer. Who the fuck knows?
Sure. To kind of wrap things up, the reason that I feel like you have a genuine human interest story is because of our relationship. I mean, growing up like brothers, I know you very well. I can't emphasize that enough for people, is why I keep repeating it.
Right.
You just know a person. So anybody that has a sibling understands this relationship. And so it really genuinely hit home for me when all of this happened. And I'm really glad that so much of it's resolved for personal reasons. But the reason I think it's such a powerful human interest story, really, that people need to hear is most people don't turn it around, dude. Most people just don't. I messed up and got a DUI one time, and it literally scared me straight. I've never had a beer and got behind the wheel again. It was like 10 years ago, right? This is kid shit. It really stuck with me because they said 68% of you are going to come back here. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, whoa, hold on. No, I didn't want to be a statistic, but I just had a change in my life that, worked all those kinks out. But your story is powerful because so many people have been staying home in 2020, addictions through the roof. People got these checks and I know how bad they needed them, but some people were doing fine. And now this family of 4 had X amount of dollars in the bank. And we've been hearing it in this community where we're at about the addiction being through the roof.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, like with my story, I mean, there's nothing special about me, what I went through. You know, it really, when I say it wasn't that bad, I don't mean like it was a freaking walk in the park. It was by far. I mean, just the mentality of it.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like I said, you're in a box.
A literal box.
The only time you would see like outside was when we went to rec and they had the windows open. And now you're seeing sky, maybe top of a couple trees because it's so high up. But you get that for half an hour a day. You don't realize how much you appreciate it. Like, there's one jail I was in, you'd walk to, when they take you to jail, you walk past the window where you could see outside. Because see, on the inside of all like county jails and everything, the ones I've been in, all the windows are glazed. You can't see outside.
You get a little sunlight, but no view, huh?
Yeah, you get light, but it's just like a white frosted.
Sure. A little
glass.
glow. You get a glow, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you can't, like if someone walked by, you would see a figure. You couldn't tell what the figure was. You couldn't tell if it was a Sasquatch walking by.
So
You
that
just knew something walked by because it moved.
So that sounds like a huge negative, and that's kind of what I'm driving at. Does prison literally scare you straight?
Yeah, if you let it, and it's not like you're scared. It's just like scared, like as in something gonna happen to you. It's scared as in I don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to go through this again.
I don't want to come back here.
Right.
Okay.
And like, you know, you do, I don't want to really say friends, but there is a few that I met that I have kept in contact with, talked to them here and there, off and on.
Yeah.
You know, have I seen them? No. We just like, hey, how you doing? Doing good. Still doing good? Good. Me too. You know,
Sure.
still trying to, you know, get your shit out of the way. Yeah. You know, that kind of crap.
Well,
But I saw shit in there too. Like, I seen a dude killed. Seen a dude stabbed to death.
they fuck you up in the head.
And just the way it happened, the way it was treated.
Mop it up.
And I mean, that's just a lot to go into. But
Sure. No, I can understand exactly
You
how
know,
powerful that could be to see in
so, I
human
mean,
life.
yeah, when I talk about it, there's like a lot
And-
of funny stuff and a lot of like, you know, lighthearted times. And that's mainly what it is. As long as you get along with a few people, find some people to play some cards with or talk to, make a couple of, you know, quote unquote friends and or acquaintances, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier to go through that day-to-day shit.
Yeah.
You find something to distract you.
Sure.
But does fucked up shit happen? Yeah. Do you see it? Yeah. Do you hear about it? Yeah. Do you
Well-
get punished for it even if it didn't? You didn't fucking do it. No one else in your pod did it. Yeah.
Sure.
You know, something happens in another pod, they punish the entire fucking jail.
Yeah.
You know, just and some of the times the shit they do just pisses you the fuck off because they're doing it just to fucking do it.
That sounds like humans.
And like I said, you're treated like a freaking animal. Like one of Joe's, when you got your tray, it came through a slot in the wall. Every day, 3 days, 3 times a day for 6 months, someone handed me a fucking tray through a fucking slot in the wall. Couldn't even see who it was because of the mirrors.
What does it do to you mentally? I mean, what's the process?
You get in line, people start making moo sounds. So, I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, it's like walk up and like hitting a button and getting a food pellet. You know?
Do you consider it unfair, unjust?
No.
It's just
The food definitely sucks. They
the
don't
whole
give
experience.
you enough.
Sure.
No, they say it's based off, but they're feeding a guy, no offense, your size and me the same
plate.
amount.
Yeah, it's silly.
Oh yeah. Like,
It worked for you. It fucking sure as hell ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah, no, I saw how much weight you lost. It was outrageous.
I was at a lower weight when I came out after 15 months than I was when I graduated high school.
Yeah. Well, we got this not intending to be famous expression going on this show that came out of a conversation we had that I latched onto it. Maybe I really do believe this, that all people are hurting people, that everybody's hiding something that's in there and hurts them. And it's like, you could say, oh, boo-hoo, yeah, we all have that. But like the reality is it's affecting you as a person. It's affecting your outlook. It's affecting the way you interact with people. Everybody has that. And I have a lot of people in my life with addictions, and I'm going to be like real specific. I don't want to sound like I'm picking on somebody first is why I'm stuttering, but I don't like it when people look down their nose and judge, period. And I hear it a lot, but I know people doing the judging, and they're like eating themselves to death. They like maybe used to be a cheerleader and now they're maybe dying early from their weight. You have a serious addiction that exists. Okay. Mm-hmm. I got a friend that I think probably lost a job over that it's like you're kind of eating yourself out of house and home in a literal sense. Mm-hmm. Food's a huge addiction. Okay. How about gambling? People act like I don't do drugs. Really? How's that mortgage paperwork looking? Right?
Not just that, but how's that scratcher you buy every day when you stop at the store on the way home.
Little stuff, sure. But that stuff's fairly harmless. Fairly. I mean, arguments can be made both ways, but I'm talking to people the dyed in the wool addictions. Oh, and then the classics. Everybody's got a lot of stories about a lot of dope and stuff that they did in their past that I keep hearing all over. And I see a pretty good cross-section of society in my marketing firm. And you just get these funny little guy-to-guy stories thrown at you sometimes. Oh, yeah. Everybody has a past. Everybody has a history. All those people sipping on white wine 24/7 kind of thing. I'm not judging anybody. It's the opposite. I feel like everybody's still trying to look down their nose and say, well, at least I don't do this. At least I'm not that person. At least I'm better than. And I feel like the problem is we never actually deal with anything that way. Nobody gets any help.
See, a lot of that was with me too. Like, I used to care a lot what people thought about me.
I remember.
Especially with family. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Fair.
And when I finally just said, fuck it, I'm done.
Done in what way? Like you just don't care.
Just like I don't care no more. If you don't want to be part of your life, fine.
And you're saying that was a relief. That was a weight lifted.
It was. Like no matter what I do, I'm never going to be good enough to be accepted.
In your own family.
In my own family.
Do you feel like you could make things right, or do you feel like you even need to?
You know what? I'm doing what I need to be doing. I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of my girls. I'm taking care of my family, like my mom. Helping my ex with my girls. Doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Stops right there.
I have nothing to prove to anyone. If they don't like it, sorry. If it's not good enough for them, sorry. Do I give a fuck? No. They want to open that door, they know where I'm at.
Is there anybody that...
I didn't shut it. They did.
Sure. Is there anybody that you didn't have a chance to reconnect with that maybe you would have talked to, said something to, explained, apologize?
My dad.
Yeah.
I was probably good 2.5 years, almost 3 into my addiction when I lost him. And there's a lot of times I could have had with him that I didn't because I was out running around doing whatever. Or not helping him out when I should have. There's nothing I can do about it now. Do I feel bad? Yeah. Am I sorry? Yeah. One day I'll get a chance to tell him that. I hope. But he knows I loved him. I know he loved me. That's all I freaking care about.
I know that when I first asked you to come do this, there was a lot of hesitation, and I don't blame you. It's some really personal stuff. But I genuinely thank you for explaining it to me in this setting, because this isn't just for sake of cameras. This isn't for sake of anybody else. I say it all the time that the reason that we worship in churches is it's a place set aside for what you're there to do for its purpose. And there's something special about that. There's something special about sitting down in a room that is dedicated only to having a meaningful one-on-one conversation. And I feel that even though we had an abbreviated version of the history of everything, I think people can see that what I'm driving at is that there's a lot of regular people suffering, and all the judgment and all the feeling better than isn't helping anybody. And and if that's the element of society you're worried about.
One thing I could tell people that are going through the same shit that I went through is you're not alone. Other people are going through this.
I can't believe how many and what their stature is in society.
And the thing is, you're so close to each other, you probably pass each other 5 times a day on the street.
And everybody's so embarrassed to stick a hand in the air and go, I need some help, man. I need some help.
I was too embarrassed. I was too proud. I didn't think I had a problem. And like I said, the reason things worked for me is not because I'm special or it's easy to do. Just the way everything went worked for me. It went the way that I needed it to go. Like I said, what I went through and everything isn't going to help anyone else. But what you're going through, what you have gone through, as long as you want it to happen, that will help. Like I used a lot of that shit for motivation.
Sure. I mean, Tyson probably learned to box different than Ali.
Well, it's just like, you know, one of my main drives, actually the main drive for making everything work like the treatment was my girls. What my 9-year-old said to me a couple weeks into jail, 15 months before I came home. We need to stop doing bad things. I didn't think I was. The entire time. I didn't think I was doing anything bad. But when you realize it is, and you realize who you're hurting, like, yeah, I knew I was like not being the greatest dad by not spending time with my girls.
Yeah.
Did I really think I was having that much of an impact? No. Was I being told I was? Yes. Did I believe it? No.
We all dig holes, and that ain't the test. The test is what you do about it when you realize it, right?
Right. When you don't think you have a problem, no one's going to tell you different. You know that as well as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, our demons were different, but we went through the same shit.
And that's exactly why I wanted to talk about it, because I think that a lot of people are embarrassed to. And guess what? I'm embarrassed too. Right? I mean, nobody heard my story tonight. Mine's pretty powerful too. Mine was rough. I lost 15 years of my life, man. I'm kind of bitter about that, to be honest. I'm working through those things, but these stories need to get told, frankly, for the people that are still suffering. And right. I know that because of another component to my story, but people just need to hear things like this, but they need to see that it can turn around.
Right. And I'm not going to say it's easy. It was a bitch.
Sure. I ain't driving a Rari.
No.
But you feel good.
Do I got money in my account? Yeah. Am I paying my bills? Yeah. Can I go buy a ticket and fly somewhere for a weekend? No.
What are your plans for the future? What do you want to do? Dream big. What do you want to do?
Same thing I want to do every night.
Take over the world.
Snarf.
That's where Snarf came from. We were 80s kids. I didn't watch much Pinky and the Brain. Okay, thank you. Then that's where I got it from.
Like, oh, Snarf.
Yeah, okay.
His name was Snarf, but that was the noise Pinky made. Go Snarf.
Oh, yeah. Pinky and the Brain also.
It's funny you say that. You know why I wasn't a Thundercats fan when I was a little kid? Even though little kids loved... Because of Snarf. Because he was so goofy. I mean, these dudes are big, jacked, bodybuilding cats with fucking Wolverine claws, and they have swords. And oh, you know what? For shits and giggles, the swords shoot fucking lasers. And then you got a Snarf.
He-Man had Orko.
I know. They always have the comic element. Every movie has it, right?
You know.
No, I get it.
At least Orko could do some sort of magic. I mean, what the fuck does Snarf do?
Snarf.
He ended up distracting in one episode. I watched a couple episodes of Thundercats because for my mom's birthday, I got her like the sword, and she was like, "Ho ho," because I told her to do that, and she didn't get it at first, but then she watched the intro, and then I was like, "Oh, okay," and then we were just watching it, and I was like, "It's kind of goofy because they're like doing flips and stuff, running," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then there's that one guy, I forgot his name. He's like mummified. He's like yeah or something like that.
Mumra.
Yeah, Mumra. He's like,
I fucking can't even. I can't even. As a professional creator, as a creative professional, I'm in a room, and we're like, "All right, Johnson. All right, team. What are we gonna call the mummy guy?" And some guy goes, "Mumra." Mic drops, and the whole team goes, "Yeah, I mean, fuck, write that down. Definitely Mumra."
He's a Mumra. He's a mummy. His name's Mumra. But it was the 80s.
Hey, what if the joke's on us and Snarf's language is like Groot's language and that motherfucker's just crunching the answers to quantum physics all day and he looks at him and goes, Snarf.
Yeah,
William
okay.
Groot.
Yeah, right. So I really appreciate you coming and telling this story because I know it's different sitting in a living room, catching up.
All right, I know you've been
having a
wanting me to do this for a while. I mean, I'm glad I did. I mean, I'm not wanting to say the cheesy thing, you know, as long as my story helps out one person. Because that's so fucking played out.
A lot
if
of
anything I said just makes you think, just stop what you're doing, just think for a minute.
and
Even though
that's
it's going to be hard to do,
right.
but just think like, is this worth it? It's not.
It's part of the reason that I wanted you to do the show because, you know, I'm on this really meaningful, profound journey in my own life right now. And a lot of what helped me was when the dentist pulls the wrong tooth out of my face and I got to be on camera and it's incredibly embarrassing. And I did it anyway. I just pushed through it because I really wanted to have the conversations, right? And you get through that embarrassment. And I think that's part of it here, being past the embarrassment. But the big thing is seeing myself on camera still bothers me a lot. And I'm going to Johnny Depp it and like never watch episodes that I film. But my point is you're going to see you on camera. You're going to see you doing okay. And it does something to you to see yourself doing the best you've done in a long time.
Right.
And it's accountability because you got that video. When you say, what about that moment?
Sure.
You can literally hit play on a video and go, I want to be that guy. I'm going to fucking stay that guy. And I don't need whatever this is in front of me.
The thing is, I'm already that guy. And like you said, I'm going to stay that way. I mean, do I know what the future holds for me? No. It's going to be better than what it was.
Right on.
It'll be the best I can make it. I mean,
every person deserves a redemption story. And they're always our favorite stories. All we got to do is turn to the classic.
right.
Everybody deserves one. And then if you're lucky enough to get one and then do the work and get to where you're at, it's just will you maintain it. It's what do you do with the gift you've been given, right? So I think it'd be really cool when you get to come back on this show in 2 years and go, doing good. Told you so.
Right.
And I hope you set some goals like that for yourself and you just stay steady, man.
Right.
It's nice to see you back to just good old you, man.
It's good to feel this way, even though it still feels a little weird.
It looks better on you than the other guy.
Right.
So thanks for coming and telling your story. And we can be done with the on-camera part of it now. But, you know, thanks for sharing this with us.
Thanks. No problem.
All right. I wish
Glad
you.
I was on this. Love you, bro.
I love you too, man.